I'm Ralf Lolies. I'm German, located close to Frankfurt, and I'm responsible for the Panduit sales and marketing operations in all EMEA, means Central Europe, as well as Africa and Middle East. That means my responsibility goes from, I would say, Saudi Arabia up through the whole continent and Africa into Russia and the UK, Ireland. So pretty big region, a lot of countries, and that's one of the reasons why we're here today, joining the TridentTech event, which for me is very important, and I want to go to this a little later. So first of all, again, coming back to the actual situation and coming back to the agenda I have in mind, I want to talk a little about our passion and innovation ambitions. We want to talk a little about growth in my presentation, a few words on customer service as well, and then the assets we can bring to you as Panduit, as well as Trident as a joint organization. Finally, I think I owe you and the Trident team a few deep dive here as well, and a few words on the event as such. So unfortunately, as you see, I can't be with you, and that's due to the Corona issue situation. We had quite very unexpected move. I can tell you that when we built plan 2020, end of 2019, nobody had in mind that we have a kind of deep impact of the business. Good thing for the European operations of Panduit, we were able to nearly maintain 2019 level of revenues. So we did not drop much. In reality, we're about 2% below 2019. The market has collapsed between 8 and 14, depending on what vertical you're talking about. Means we have gained market share in the European region during the crisis, and now it's on us to defend that gained market share, and that's where we need you guys and Trident and our team to support that. We're not willing to give gained market share away again. The virus, as you may notice in the news, is still around us. We have a bunch of countries where the infections are increasing. Some of the countries increase heavily, I have to say. Germany is one of them. We don't know what that means, but for example, the German government is going to declare more restrictions again. So lockdowns and all these kind of things coming up. Nevertheless, we've proven once we can survive and grow, and we'll do that this time again. So I think, what we are going to talk about, I will not go very technical in this presentation here, because technical is the role of all my colleagues and friends from EMEA and the US. And that's the purpose of this partner event. I owe you a little more high level. Who is Panduit? What are we doing? So we're very proud of that picture. And I use this one in most of my presentations. You can see a product that was the first product Panduit invented. The owner and the founder of Panduit, Jack Kevaney, about 60 years ago. And the good thing about it is that product is still in use. That means he invented something. And 60 years ago, I was about 2 years old, so I had no clue what he was doing. But we brought a product that was sustainable, and I think the success story of Panduit over all these 60 years was a pretty consistent and pretty sustainable strategy, which I talk to in a minute, because you know who Panduit is today. We are more than 5,500 people, and we are more or less everywhere in the world. Starting with this, let me say, home activity on a very clever product by our founder, Jack Kevaney, who passed away a few years, unfortunately. But nevertheless, his mindset and his philosophy is still very deep in the business. That means I want to talk about a little innovation. We started with this, and you will see what happened to that product offer over those 60 years. And in principle, I would want to say that the strategy has been always, once I have a product that works, and by the way, our ambition is always and has always been, we are the better choice when it comes to service and delivery and quality of the product, and the the parameters, the technical parameters, which are typically superior, which has a price. We are not a low-cost brand. We are not looking for cheap solutions. We are looking for solutions where customers are valuing our offer, which means we exclude ourselves from some portions of the market. We are very aware of this, but we are hunting for the business where the technical expertise and our value add has a meaning to our customers. That means, if I transfer this to the Middle East as an example, and your event as of today and tomorrow, we know that the Middle East, Africa data center market is expected to grow above 10% over the next 5 years. That's the overall DC market. And we see a lot of invest in countries specific like Egypt. Everybody in the room, I think, is aware about the new Cairo build, which offers a lot of opportunities. And we want to play that game. And as we don't have Panduit people on ground, we have decided to participate on that course through Trident, and Basil made the point when Basil approached me 3 years ago that he wants to leave my organization. I was first pretty shocked and worried, but when he told me about his business model, that he wanted to continue working for us, and what his vision was to build his business, I was fascinated, and we found an agreement which is on an exclusive basis. I mean, we know that Basil contributes to my revenue, because every deal he does is a Panduit deal when it comes to network infrastructure and electrical products, which we added only a year ago to his umbrella. And he knows that we will not work with anybody else in his region, which is a very fruitful relation, and it's a definite win-win over here. So as we know, I know the numbers very well. You may have heard about it. Basil's growth in the region is tremendous. It's double-digit every year, and we are pretty happy that we did that move, and we are happy to continue investing and supporting the Trident people wherever we can. You can see it on this event. Our people are there. You can see it, in the day-to-day business, that whenever Basil needs any help, our people come in, fly in. If it's business unit, if it's product management or whatever, you scroll a little too quick. Sorry for that. That's where we promise support, and that we are really proud of. And I think Basil is utilizing this a lot. Is that who is scrolling the slides? It's going too quick. Yeah, thank you. So we heard Tom Walsh talking about this, and we heard Jeff Paliga talking about this. Panduit is only strong when the partner and ecosystem around ourselves is strong, because we need that multiplier in reaching to the market, which is people like you, same organizations like in Central Europe, for example, and around the world. Finally, in the region of Trident, the model is different. We have Trident only as our representative firm. We look at Basil and his team as being part of us, because first of all, we don't have anybody else in the region, and I think Basil can agree that we treat him like anybody else in Panduit. We provide the solutions, we provide the support, the training, we support these events, and we are there when they need us, which is extremely important. And that's why we take so much focus on building ecosystem, and ecosystem for us is substantial to survive. So if you go to the next, we missed one slide, I think. Can you go one back? Thank you. This is a whole Panduit play as of today. So I know that this event is on network infrastructure. I know this, but if you looked at the product we started with, Panduit really started at what we call the electrical side of the business, which is ICMRO, where you can see application on the photo, which is OEM, which is buses, trains, aircraft, and all these kind of things. That's where cable ties go in, and all the products we did for more than 60 years. The network infrastructure piece of it has a younger history. And if I look at what the strategy of our founder has been over the years and the team around him, I think whenever we had a good product, we looked around what goes into that product. So what goes into that cable trunking system, and what else goes outside that cable trunking system. So if you follow those cables going through these conduits, somewhere, and I think they ended up in DC and saying, oh, here's applications Panduit could do. Because if you look at, let me say, a fully assembled cabinet, you will find cable ties. I'm not saying a cable tie is a major project in a fully configured cabinet. I think Tom Walsh and Holly would kill me for saying that. But it's one of the first products we had available to support people assembling those cabinets. And then we design piece by piece along the product path, I would call it, into additional solutions. And that's how we ended up in building cabinets and PDUs and other stuff that's coming up you will hear about. And we are completing that, being very selective on what we do, and being very selective as well on where we want to go with our solutions. And again, I have to point out again, we really exclude low quality, low performance, low price, low budget opportunities, because that's not our gameplay. So to the number, I told you we are about 5,500 people now. The company is more than $1 billion heavy. We are growing double digit this year, more than double digit, and the performance is definitely great. Coming a little to the close of my presentation here, I simply want to point out again my first frustration when Basil said, "I'm going to my dream is to run a company." And he stated himself, we were pretty supportive once we understood his idea. And I think over the last 3 years, both teams, Trident and Panduit, have very consequently followed the path to make this a win-win for both of us, as well as a win-win for the region, because the footprint we have now through Trident with quite a lot of people and very regional penetration, Panduit couldn't deliver this. We are focusing on the countries where we are strong, and we believe in people like Basil and his team. And he's paying back with that. We are pretty happy. So there's nothing that would, what I can think about should stop us moving forward. And from our side, we are going to be supportive as we've done. And you can see that picture over here. About 3 years ago, I remember it was very hot, but it was a very nice event, the opening of Basil's organization in Cairo. Very nice place, very nice audience. The guy to the right of Basil is Mark Nacy, Senior Vice President for Network Infrastructure, who was with us. Basil in the middle, and I'm that small guy to the right in the picture. So for that, I think I wish you really good 2 days. I really encourage you to listen, to have as much as you can takeaways from what you hear and see. I think if you take it serious, the takeaway will not be the end of collaboration and relationships. You will have questions beyond what you hear and see today and tomorrow. So feel free to reach out through Trident at any time. And if they need support with us, we are here. If you want to see applications live, we invite you to our briefing centers, either in London, Frankfurt, Milan, if necessary. We are here to host you there. We don't need those briefing centers because we know our products, but we create a lot of customer excitement, I would call it, when we get people into what we show you. And that includes Atlona, our most recent acquisition, which is also our My Umbrella in Europe, grown very nicely. We are building the organization. It's a pretty small team, but the strategy is to use our Panduit sales force and technicians as a multiplier to support Atlona solutions, which means if you work in a country where Atlona is not, either Panduit is here or Trident is here to support you and give you anything you need. And by this, I'm closing. Thanks for listening. Any questions, feel free to reach out.
Thank you very much again, Rolf, and wish the next one we'll see you in person.
Thank you, Basil. Enjoy.